My invasive species project was done on the parrot-feather green crab and the West Indian lantana plant, which are prime examples of invasive species because they have been introduced to a new region and impacted their new environments. The Myriophyllum aquaticum, or the parrot feather, got its name based on the structure and arrangement of the plant stems. This plant is native to the Amazon River basin in South America and thrives best in subtropical regions. It was first reported as appearing in the United States around the 1800s and then later was found in Japan in 1920, New Zealand in 1929, England in 1970, and Australia in 1960. The parrot feather has spread greatest through and along coastal lakes, streams, drainage systems, shallow wetlands, canals, and reservoirs. However, it is very tolerable to a wide range of water levels and can grow in moist soil but needs to maintain high nutrient environments. This plant tends to do best when rooted into bottom sediments and will colonize more rapidly in slower moving water, where light can penetrate to the bottom versus higher flow rates, which do not really favor growth. Parrot feathers exhibit constant and annual growth. As water temperatures increase, the shoots of overwintering rhizomes grow quickly, as these are used for support for the roots and provide emergent growth in summer. The emergent stems and leaves grow to become over 1 foot above the water surface, as well as these plants do not store phosphorus or carbon in their rhizomes so they can survive harsh winters. Moreover, it has been introduced globally for its use in indoor and outdoor aquaria and is a known aquatic garden plant. Yet it has begun to spread through the plant fragments in intentional plantings, but it has escaped cultivation since then. Since it has escaped cultivation, it is capable of dramatically changing the physical and chemical characteristics of many lakes and streams. Infestations can potentially alter the ecosystems by removing the algae in the water columns, which are the basis of the aquatic food web. Also, this plant can support mosquito larval habitats, which cause increasing problems in irrigation and drainage canals and flooding. These larval habitats could lead to mosquito-borne diseases which would impact humans and wildlife. Parrot feather is not a deadly disease species. However, once it has become infested, it is an area in which it grows very rapidly and will outcompete more desirable resources. As ways to control and manage these plants, they have found various methods to keep these plants contained. Herbicides have been used before on the plants, but they have not worked due to the thick outside layer of the plant. So low levels of ester have been used and sprayed onto the emergent foliage, as well as the chemical controls of cutting, harvesting, and rotational are used when it is infested, causing all the niches to become filled. However, this process does not always succeed because the plant will regrow quickly due to harsh rhizomes. The Carniaceus meniscus, or European green crab, native to European and North American coasts reaching all the way to the Baltic Sea. The green crab first entered the United States around the mid-1800s, discovered in the Cape Cod region of New Jersey. The green crab is found in its natural habitat environments of tidal marshes, rocky shores, sound flats, and cobble shores. The crab is a predator in which feeds off many types of organisms such as clams, oysters, and mussels. Because of these broad feeding habitats and adaptation to many environments, it has invaded lots of coastal communities. The body. The body of the green crab has a dorsal shell which is dark brown with small yellow patches, and its ventral color will vary depending on if it's during molting season. Yet the defining characteristic is the 5 spines on both sides of the eyes and the 3 rounded lobes between the eyes. Their body is about 2.5 inches in length but can get to 4 inches. The introduction. The introduction of the green crab was most likely through shipping and packaging of live bait and lobsters. The dispersion. The dispersion is through the larval transports through ocean currents, water exchanges, transfer of equipment, and transfer of live shellfish. Impact. The clam harvest has been on the steady decline since the crab became established on certain coasts in California. Many commercial shellfish growers have to alter their culture methods to hopefully reduce losses caused by predation from the crab. The native Dungeness crab has the potential to become impacted by the green crab because they will outcompete the Dungeness crab in food and habitat. The Dungeness crab creates a major industry and could greatly reduce the commercial industry of crabs. For protocols and procedures. As the invasion of the European green crab is becoming a more impending issue, protocols have been ensued to prohibit this from happening over and over again. There have been new regulations on all the shellfish agriculture and aquatic invertebrate imports and movements between states, as well as additional restrictions on imports from out of state and they all require 1 hour chlorine dips of shellfish, seeds, and broodstock from the green crab infested areas. Many coastal programs have been able to control and keep track of the green crabs as they appear on the coast and able to keep a grip on how far they can spread. The Latana camara, or the big sage, is native to the West Indies. The first reportings were discovered by Europe by Dutch explorers, Asia, New Zealand, Australia, China, and India. The environment. The Lantana camara has invaded many ecosystems in reinstating roadsides and creek banks. It has become a major greenhouse plant, leading to many cultivators for the European markets. The growth. It grows as a hedge plant for medical and practical purposes. The growing shrub can grow over 6 feet, and the leaves are oval-shaped with 6 inches in width. The leaves have blades which are separate and feel very rough. Reproduction. The reproduction of this lantana plant is that it can cross-pollinate, produces seeds at a rapid pace, and can reproduce vegetatively. The uses, so for the bark, they make lotions which are used for eruptions of the skin, and stalks which are used for the paper pulp. Impact. Human and animals have had a major impact on the lantana camara. If humans or animals consume this fruit and it is unripened, they can get poisoned because it has an allelopathic substance in their roots which inhibit the growth of nearby plants. However, they have found ways to control the amount of seeds produced and left for dispersion. In order to control it, they have agreed to remove flower heads, which decreases the number of seeds released or captured by animals to then be dispersed, and to detract the amount of infestations from native plants. As well as to completely destroy or remove the plant from an area, they will cut, fire, rake, or doze the plants to ensure the removal of the lantana plants. They have been successful in many of those methods, and not too many cases have been found. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you learn more about invasive species.